Hello everyone, I'm CatDeadThings and welcome back to Guild Wars 2. Today we are going to continue our journey through the Living World Season 3 maps, and this time we're going to take a little jaunder through Bloodstone Fen. So if you go to the main view of the world map, here you go, here's everything, all the way to the left. Right here, Bloodstone Fen. This is the first map, the first zone that you unlock in the Living World Season 3 maps. There's a whole bunch of them. If you hit your Y key, you go to your contacts looking for group, you go to this area here, you can kind of, if you don't have everything unlocked and you're still kind of new to the game, this can kind of give you a guide as to where everything is. So you look at Living World Season 3, boom, right there, Bloodstone Fen. We've already done Bitterfrost Frontier, and we've done Lake Dork. Not so much in order. I'm kind of doing them out of the order that I personally like them. I love Lake Dork, one of my favorite zones. Bitterfrost Frontier is just really fun that I find. But Bloodstone Fen I really also like because you're also fighting a lot of the White Mantle here. And that's kind of reminiscent for old school MMO gameplay, at least for me. But this zone truly is a great place because as you can see here, there's a lot of gathering to be done. There's metas going on. Let's take a look at looking for group again. And let's see. Look, no, there's no one there right now. But Guild Wars 2 does such a great job at keeping old maps still fresh where people actually want to do things in them. Now, Bloodstone Fen is truly a great place to just grind out stuff if you want to make some gold, if you just want to kill things and you want to do it for funsies or whatever. The only reason why I don't have it as part of my other like grinding thing that I do in the Central Tyria is because those, in that playlist at least, you can do it by yourself. A lot of these bosses you can't necessarily do by yourself. Like, you have to have a group to do them. So they're still good, they're still doable, but you need some people with you to kind of break the ice to make it a little bit easier so you can get it done. But there are a lot of ways to grind out gold if you want to do that. There's a nice meta part of this map as well. And like I said before, the gathering nodes, personally, I think this is one of the best maps to do it. There is just so many nodes here for gathering. So we're going to take a look at just a few features and then put them together. That way you guys can kind of get an idea what this zone is like. Okay, so first things first. Something to get into a great habit with everything is putting on your buffs to increase your magic find. Anytime you're in a map or looking at things, you definitely want to do that. For me, in this zone, starting off, I like to go to Zealot's Overlook Waypoint. There's only 4 waypoints in this place, but for me, that's kind of the beginning of a grind session if I want to be getting mats, doing events, or things like that, because I get right into the action. You're at a nice high point, you can go from there. Something I would recommend heavily, especially with this map, is making sure you're getting your glider's mastery up if you can. As you just saw, it made it so easy for me, especially in this part of the map, to just navigate everywhere and get to those events. This is one of the key feature events, at least on this side of the map, that I like to do because you're hitting all different kinds of mob types, which drop many different types of trophies. So if you want, you can sell them, you can use them to craft or whatever. But as you can see, these mobs, I mean, depending on the scaling because of how many players are there, but if not a lot of players are there, these mobs will go pretty fast and you might miss the event. That's why having your gliding mastery, among other things, mounts too if you have them, but you know, again, that's if or a sky scale. But I mean, if you have a sky scale, you're flying everywhere, so it doesn't really matter at that point. But if you don't, if you're like me and you're poor, you have to rely on your masteries and to get around everywhere. They really just help expedite the process a lot. So in this part of the map, that's what I like to do. I just like to go around and hit these portal points. Very cut and dry, as you just saw. There's some mobs, smack the mobs. You get some drops from them, which is pretty nice. Again, we're using our buffs to maximize that. And you get a little event reward. And those event rewards, especially in the Living World Season 3, you don't want to sleep on them because they can actually accumulate you a lot of money if you so choose to sell them. Or if you just need mats for different kinds of crafting and things like that, you can always salvage them for whatever you need. But these events especially go super, super quick if you have a group doing them. So this is one of the features of it too. You have a champion mob that comes out once you do enough of the little mobs. This guy will pop out. I didn't want to solo him because I'm not prepared to solo him, and it would be a lot of work, so I just kind of waited around for some people to show. But people are still flooding through these zones, so if you've got enough people to go through with, you can just do laps. And this event, it just keeps going and going and going, so you can do laps, circles and circles, just getting all kinds of goodies the longer you do it. And as you're going through those events and hitting those portals, of course, keep your eye open, because if you go back to the Zealot's Overlook Waypoint, there is a group boss that does spawn every now and again. And I almost didn't pay attention and missed it, but you can see I still managed to get there before he even hit half HP. And even if you don't like the rewards necessarily a lot just from the time it takes to do this, it's still a very fun fight. It's just a very easy, very simple tank and spank, but he does have a fun mechanic where he actually teleports you into the air, a certain amount of you, and then you have to either fall down to your death, and hopefully you'll react soon enough. You can glide back down, but as you're doing it, you can use special abilities that you buy with Unbound Magic in this map only. That's of course if you want to spend it or not. But just keep your eye open, because this guy will spawn every now and again, and usually everyone kind of floods to it, so it's a free way to get some good loot. Okay, so now let's take a look at the gathering aspect. I did mention earlier that this zone, personally, I feel like is a great place to get some gathering in. So this is kind of, oh, look at me Viking, me Apollos. Anyway, let's take a look at the tools I usually run. This, I kind of still have it from the winter event, so I'm slowly working through it. But generally, this is the tool that I run. I like it because I get a chance of getting leather mats back. Now, there are volatile magic, there are unbound magic tools that people prefer. This is just what I like to use. It's a limitless one, and I didn't actually buy it. I earned it from transferring gold to gems, buying it that way. So I didn't swipe. Took me a while, but I didn't swipe. This is my woodcutting tool, the Choya logging tool. Same thing. I get a chance to receive ore while I'm hitting those trees. And then this is for my ore, the glyph of the tailor. Again, that's just how I like to run my economy. I get cloth scraps, and I especially like this one and this one because getting leather and cloth I find is a lot harder than just smacking some trees and some ore veins. But that's how I like to do it. And it really boosts my economy. It gives me a lot of gold in return. And a lot of times I don't even necessarily just outright sell it. I will take it and then craft other things with it because that's just what I like to do. But there are other ways to cut this pie. Just make sure you have the right tools for the right job. Gathering is such a key component to this game, especially if you're trying to just make a little bit extra money while you're doing basically nothing. You're doing metas that you've done 100 times over. You're just roaming through the maps. It's always good to be looking at the nodes on your map. And some maps, of course, are better than others. Some have better resources or more lucrative. But if you get into the habit of always gathering the nodes that you see, especially when you don't have any time constraints, maybe it's after work or you've got a half hour, an hour to play before you have to go do something. While you're hitting those nodes and gathering, you'd be shocked if you don't do it already, because a lot of people do. But if you don't, you'll be shocked at how much money you can actually make by just hitting all these nodes. And like I said before, Bloodstone Fen is full of them. It's not a very large map. Even if you just do a simple tour all the way around, it won't take you long to clear, but you'll definitely notice a lot more money in your bank if you just sell them outright. Or craft them, whatever you want to do. So last and certainly not least, we have the main meta for the entire map. You go to the big chasm looking place. It's called the Maw. It's a big giant like caved in rocks and stuff everywhere. You have the jade constructs that start appearing. Now these guys can be tough. If people can solo these different bosses in this map, I'm not sure. I've never done it myself. I'm sure there's some people that'll be more than happy to let me know, oh yes, you can solo everything here. I don't know that. I'm more of a casual player. So at least for us other casual players and people who sometimes don't want to be sweaty, you get a nice group going, and this meta is actually pretty clean, cut, and dry. You go through to these different spots, you have these giant jade constructs, and you just start smacking away and start hitting them. There are some mechanics to them. You can start losing your HP pretty fast. You just kind of have to watch for that and make sure that you don't die all the time. But they're pretty basic, pretty simple. You just fight them. There's two different kinds. There's a bow guy and there's an armor dude. And that's pretty much it. There's not much more of the mechanics besides taking out their bar, which you can take them out with CC. And you just have fun with it. How it works is there are several layers of them. So you kind of just go around the chasm. You go around them all. You hit all of them. And then once you do all of them successfully, of course, because you can't let that stalagmite thing right there drop below and go to zero. If you do, then the meta doesn't work. You're trying to kill the boss before it goes to zero. So when you do that, then you have the legendary boss that spawns all the way at the bottom, and that's really the goal that you're trying to get here. So as I said, you do enough of the J constructs, you go all the way to the bottom, and here is the legendary boss. And it is yet again, that's right, if you guessed it, you are a genius, a tank and spank. Now, I don't know if there's a proper, efficient way to do this meta. I definitely wasn't even playing the game when this map was first released, so if it is out there, I'm not sure what it is. But at least every single time that I've done it, we basically like mass murder, mob this guy all the way to his HP being zero. Everyone just kind of piles on, starts hitting him. You can definitely go down quite a few times in this fight. So there, you do have to watch, kind of be a little bit more mobile. But for the most point, I've never failed it. You get enough people down there hitting him in the face, eventually he will go down. and you get the nice epic loots afterward. This now leads us to what kind of things can you actually buy with the Unbound Magic and with the map currency, the Bloodstone Rubies. So if you take a look at your map here, you're all the way to the north, in the north western corner. You talk to this guy, Scholar Raka, I don't know how to say his name. So basically, if you're starting your Ascended journey, like you're trying to get your character full Ascended, going through these Living World Season 3 maps is a good place to start. Because like here, for example, you can get your back item, you can get a amulet, and you can get a ring. And getting this much Unbound Magic, if you're just grinding out this map for money, you'll get this in no time. Same thing with these Bloodstone Rubies. Like you'll get it in no time. And what's nice, especially if you don't have any legendary gear, let's say you're using these and you pick your specific stats, and then you kind of want to change my build, I want to change my character, change my stats. This Bloodstone Capacitor does that for you. It can reset them, one type for each. It only takes 100 Unbound Magic. Like that's super cheap. So if you're not going to go the legendary route, or that's just way far off from end game for your character, using these so you can have that kind of reset, it's actually not a bad idea. And then for the last vendor, now you go back to your map. It's the Waypoint Soulkeeper's Airship. This is kind of your starting point in the zone anyway. Go to this guy. There's your NPC. She's important to the story. You go to your guy in the back here. NATO, again, I don't know. So this is where you get all the good stuff. So you have different skills that you can use. So these are, I had some of them unlocked for the fight with one of the big bosses, but I haven't gotten all of them, obviously. But these are skills you can use unique to the zone. You can get Bloodstone Empowerment. Now, this is good if you're trying to really like level up your character really fast. I didn't see much of a need for it because it's just XP and I don't know, I just didn't want it. You got Portal Scrolls. You get a Bloodstone Crystal Node for your home instance, which is great. Obsidian Shards, which if you're building legendaries and crafting other things like that, it's a very easy way to get them. Doesn't cost much, very little Unbound Magic. You can get some pets. I mean, just a whole bunch of goodies. These, I wouldn't get these here. In another video, I'm going to show you an efficient way to get these bundle packs. And then you can get tributes to, if you're starting your legendary grind, you can buy these in any of the zones. They don't take a lot of Unbound Magic, but this kind of expedites your trek into getting different legendaries. So this is kind of the things that you can buy. So that's it. That's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed the tour through the Bloodstone Fen map. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. If you guys want to see anything else, you want to see more like it, you let me know in the comments. Tell me what you think, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.